Rich, but I came from the Nile Valley. It's bittersweet, I smile sadly. Truth rarely seen like child's daddies. I'm in Hotep, I style flashy. Regarded highly, I'm Selassie. As time is passing, tribes are clashing. I know the ledge, I grow my dreads. My queen's two open legs have golden eggs, I'm hatched. 9 months had to hold my breath. Now I dream so heavy that I broke the bed. Provoke the feds that slaughter the sons. 12 get the 4-5 like a quarter to 1. The war has begun. Latin for sun, the soul and melanites get more of the sun. We the fortunate ones. Got the God in the womb and the Lord in my come, and no more means love. Death is the source that I'm from. Everything that they do, we have already done. Self-taught, my ice a melt salt. Mine high price, I write and sell thought. I felt cloth, I cannot in cotton shopping. Aquaponic, chronic options. Botanizing pot concoction. Earth a thought, her twat is rotten.
Peace, family. Welcome to another episode, Underground Railroad Productions. This is your host, Rich, and I am back once again with the living legend himself, none other than Professor Griff. Welcome back, my good brother.
Yes, greetings, Brother Rich, and it's a pleasure to be back here on the Underground Railroad. We're not going to get up off this railroad until we are absolutely free.
Indeed, brother. Indeed.
Harriet Tubman remix, man. What's up?
The Harriet Tubman remix. I like that. Oh, man. Before we start the show, Griff, I just want to let the people know that this Friday, December 15th at 9 o'clock, we're going to be live streaming on my channel, Black Magic 363. We're going to have the album listening session. Myself and Cambatta, we're coming out with the LP, so we're going to have the virtual album listening session. It's going to be live on the YouTube channel this Friday, December 15th from 9 to 12. It's going to be hosted by Lord Jamar. Black Dot's going to be in there. Red Pill, Blue Pill's going to be in the building. So it's going to be a star-studded event. It's going to be awesome. I'm waiting for my fly guy to get back to me with the fly. He didn't get back to me yet. But that's this Friday, family, December 15th from 9 to 12. So I just wanted to make that announcement real quick.
Oh, okay. And can I put something else up there in the front of this, Brother Rich?
Indeed.
I officially launched my crowdfunding campaign for the movie, Oculus Inc. So I'm going to give you the link to put in there so people can click on the link to support the Oculus film. It's the Oculus Inc. Hopefully August it'll be out. I'm starting production in January. So hopefully the people, we can galvanize our forces and the people can donate to the cause so I can get this film done. Oculus Inc. Professor Griff. Just you can go to GoFundMe, www.gofundme /Professor Griff Film Oculus Inc. It's the Oculus Inc. I really appreciate that, Brother Rich.
Indeed. Make sure you show support. I definitely will, and the link will be in the description bar. And with that being said, I want to start the show. Man, there's this video, Griff, that went viral, 13 million views in 1 week. We were dealing with hip-hop today. A brother by the name of Joyner Lucas. He has a video called I'm Not Racist, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. I mean, it's a viral sensation, Professor Griff.
Oh, yeah.
Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people felt like the black guy's perspective was weak. My son did a remix, and people feel like his black perspective was stronger. I got to get your take on it, Professor Griff. Everybody's talking about it. You a hip-hop legend, my brother. it's something refreshing. We often talk about hip-hop and mumble rap and the direction hip-hop is going now and everything that's wrong with hip-hop sometimes. This is an opportunity to talk about a brother who, did something very creative, very interesting. So some people, like I said, some people like it, some people still disappointed. But I got to see what Professor Griff got to say. I got some questions for you, my brother. But to start out with, give me your thoughts on Joyner Lucas' I'm Not Racist video.
I think just from the outstart, man, I think we need to say that was extremely, extremely clever for him not to even be in the video, for him to set that dynamic up. And then the way he did it was just, that was just something that I'm going to just mark down as one of the most ingenious things I've ever seen in my life. and I know people are like, damn, okay, you've been around for a minute, bro. That shit was off the chain, man, because it really made you believe this white guy was saying this stuff.
Yeah.
And then it really made you believe that black people took the inferior position because the brother couldn't even clap back.
Yeah.
Strong enough to defend who and what we are as a people and what we've been through in this world. So I think it was very, very clever. Hats off to the brother, man, Joyner Lucas, and that's coming directly from Professor Griff, man. Hats off to the brother. Very clever, brilliant writer. The brother did the damn thing. I approached it from an artist's perspective, not I didn't have my quote-unquote Professor Griff hat turned backwards. I approach it like some radical. When somebody sent it to me, I'm checking it out. I'm like, oh, okay. Because it's not like I haven't heard that stuff from white people before. I'm 57 years old. I've been living in America for a long time. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I've heard all of those things before. If you really listen to white people on what they don't say, you hear all of those things. So I was not surprised. What made me very surprised, Brother Rich, I was shocked at the people that was watching it, listening, and making their comments about it. I've seen male, female, black, white. I've seen mothers, fathers. I've seen sociologists. I've seen psychologists. I've seen other rappers. I've watched all of these people react to this, all of the reactions, and I'm blown away. I'm shocked, man. I'm shocked that because Joyner Lucas put this together and he made it appear like the white guy was saying this is how white people think about black people. This is what they say when we're not around, and in some cases when we are around. Mm-hmm. So I'm shocked that the people are shocked. You understand what I'm saying? What's the brother's name? My son?
Yeah, my son, yeah.
The brother came back, clapped back magnificently, man. I mean, I got to take my hat off to that brother also. And it's just like, that was beautifully done also. And the talent is there with our people. And I'm just speaking from an artist's perspective right now. The talent is there with our people on both sides of the fence. It's one of those things that I saw the reaction from people in a classroom. Did you see that one? It's like, it's almost sparking a debate. Now check this out, Brother Rich. If what I said has any merit, not rich merit, but merit, right?
Right.
If it has any merit, then what you and I have been saying for the last few years carries a ton of weight. You know why? Because we've been talking about race. Mm-hmm, every show, we lay out racism, white supremacy. Obviously, we haven't got past it, both black and white people. Obviously, we don't understand it, as nearly Fuller Julia has said to us. Obviously, we don't understand it because why would a song, 7 minutes or so, garner so much attention, 13 million views, if we truly got past this whole concept and idea of racism? The reason why it's getting so many views is because we finally heard what white people, other than Donald Trump, we finally heard what white people truly feel about black people. And that came from a black man. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But even black people, their reaction was like, man, I want to disagree with what this dude is saying, but I can't. Mm-hmm. Because what they're saying is absolutely not. I've heard some very ignorant, asinine, twisted-ass comments that it just made my brain numb from black women. And it was just like, and black men.
Saying what? Comments saying.
God. A few of the lines that was in the song They said he was doing fine up until he said that. I was like, wow. So from top to bottom, from the time he started off, when he talked about, with all due respect, I don't have pity for you black niggas. That's just the way I feel.
Right.
Wait, how do you have all due respect? How do you have any level of respect? How do you even start the verse off like that if you're approaching it from the perspective of this white guy is actually saying this? Which I'm really thinking these people are reacting to a white person saying it, not realizing that a black person wrote the whole thing.
Right.
So, yeah. But guess what, Brother Rich? These things should move you out your comfort zone. It should disturb you. You understand what I'm saying? This is exactly what they think about black people. We should not be surprised because in some cases this is what black people think about themselves. Giving validation to everything that you and I have been talking about on this program, on this platform. And it's absolutely true. And I'm sitting here holding in my hand a copy of Dr. Francis Cresswell Singh's book, The ISIS Papers, The Keys to the Colors. Now, I mention this every week, but people will come back at us, Brother Rich, up under the clip leaving comments, and they haven't even read the book. One brother came at me hard. I gave him my phone number, and he called and I asked him, did he read the book? And he's like, nah, why I need to read that? I'm like, wow. You claim that we blame white people for everything, and the excuse we use is Dr. Francis Cresswell's definition of racism. I said, well, what better definition do you have of racism? If you come up with a better definition, I'll stop using this one. And we're not blaming white people for everything. We're putting the blame squarely on the shoulders of the people that it belongs to. Plain and simple. They are the only people on the planet that have ever manipulated, controlled, stolen, murdered, robbed, raped other people to occupy part of their natural resources in their land. Plain and simple. No other people have done that. And it's now that the people are waking up, like the women in this country are waking up, and they're not taking the sexual abuse anymore. And they're waking up, and we're hearing their voices now, and we're hearing it directly from them. And some men can't take it. It's like, wait a minute, so you've been doing to women all this time. Now that they're waking up and they're speaking up and they're speaking out, you can't take it. Well, hell, this is what white men have been doing, and black men have been doing all this time. This has been the norm. So I'm saying that's my first reaction because I approached it as an artist. When I went back and listened to it and pieced it apart, then I approached it with my Professor Griff hat on. I approached it with my militant radical. Let me look into this and piece it apart and see what this is actually saying, and see if any of these things hold weight. That's just my initial reaction. This is why it's been weeks for me to even approach you with having this conversation. It's like, no, I don't jump on these things. I've seen people's reaction as soon as they heard it. And that's the wrong thing to do, in my case. In my humble perspective. I don't want to say opinion. It's like, no, I can't react to this. Because my first reaction to this, I would have done what most people have done. I would have thought the white dude wrote this. But because he looks the way he looks, saying what he's saying with the beard and the hat on, would make America great again, I would have clapped back, and it would have been really, really wrong. I wouldn't have been this calm. That's my first reaction.
I see people in the comment section saying that, you know, there's two sides to every story. We have to learn to understand each other's perspectives. Do you think that, and you know, people are commenting to that comment saying that, you know, they don't want to understand our side of the story. I often hear brothers say, you know, I heard a brother say one time, you know, we totally get why white people love police or love their flag and are happy about the country, and we totally get that. It benefits them, but for some reason they can't understand why we feel the way we feel. So with that being said, do you think it makes any sense? Say if there's someone you got to call, you give out your number every week, you got to call. They say, Griff, we want you to sit down with, let's say, Richard Spencer from the alt-right. or some just some Trump supporters or some alt-right members, and we want you guys to try to discuss things and see if you could figure each other out and understand each other's perspective. Would you be down for something like that, or is that like, do you feel as though that's a complete waste of time at this point?
Well, my thing is, I don't ever think the discussion of race is a waste of time. I think if we can advance people's understanding of racism, white supremacy, one iota, of course, I would sit down. I wouldn't sit down as if it was a debate. I would sit down and talk to bring some clarity to those that don't understand racism, white supremacy, and that's the only reason why I would sit down. But I wouldn't sit down and start the conversation up in the present. I'd have to go back to the past, and then we'd have to bring it to the present, because we'd have to lay some historical context. We have to at least get clear how we got to this point in America, where white officers are shooting down black teenagers, and you rarely find a black police officer killing any white young people. We'd have to see how we got to that point, and then, you know, there was a famous quote. Please don't quote me on the quote. It says, "Until the lion tells his side of the story, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter." We are the lions that they've kidnapped and drugged and put to sleep. And now that the lions are waking up and we're telling our story, the story is not glorifying the hunter, because the hunter has always told the story. So we'd have to talk about, and that's just the irony and the tragedy in that particular piece, I Am Not a Racist, that I think Mr. Lucas failed to deliver. The black side of the story is definitely not balanced. Even when you do what I did, download the lyrics and look at and weigh the balance of how much time he gave the white side, wow, it just outweighs the black side. This is why my son came back masterfully and did a beautiful, masterful job at laying it out. Then, and I think Joyner Lucas came back and did a full song by himself. Another one, I think, to clear up some things. When I did hear that, me and Sola, it was like, man, I wish he would have called us. We could have gave him some facts. You understand what I'm saying? To balance out the black side, because you have to live a little and experience some things in America in order to understand the position of black people in America. The whole idea of naming the song I Am Not a Racist. How dare white people say I'm not a racist? I asked one gentleman today who called me from New Haven, Connecticut. He wanted to talk about race, but I'm saying, give me a definition of race. He said, well, I'm going to have to call you back.
Wow.
I said, you want to waste my time and get on my phone and talk about race, but you can't even give me a working fundamental definition, a practical one of what race even means? What is a racist? But you want to have a discussion about it? I said, no, I'm not going to waste my time like that. So when white people talk about I'm not a racist, and then you have the nerve to say, with all due respect, I don't have pity for you black niggas. That's just the way I feel. That's a feeling from whites that have benefited from racism all these years. Do you understand what I'm saying? The whole idea you calling us black and nigger at the same time denotes that you know something about racism, white supremacy. It speaks volumes when you put those two words together. The whole idea, even when it's spelled out to you how you revere black in your society, in your system of racism, white supremacy, everything black inside of racism, white supremacy, as far as their culture is concerned, is exalted. As I've often said, judges wear black, military wear black, police wear black. They're important events. They're riding in black limousines, and they're wearing black tie and tails. Their most important event, when they have a baby at the hospital, they're not handing out white cigarettes with your fags. They're handing out dark, long cigars with your dark penises, phallic symbols. So when you pull the cover back, you actually love black, but you just don't want to admit it. You want to be black, but you just don't want to admit it. He says all black guys rather be deadbeats than pay your bills, yelling nigger this and nigger that. call everybody a nigger and get a nigger mad as soon as I say nigger, everyone reacts. I'm like, wow, nigger is not a term that we created. Nigger is a term that y'all created, that white people created. The system of racism, white supremacy created the term nigger and put it among us so we can use, so they can use it to beat us down with that word. And then in turn, beating our language out of us, we have now taken that word to beat down one another. But in our attempt to understand this bastard English language, we took the word and flipped it, and we use it as a term of endearment. Tupac flipped it to mean something totally different. Never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. We've taken the term nigga and did all kind of things with it so we can wrestle with the fact that they put this word among us to beat us down with it. Then he said, you want to swing at me and call me a racist because I ain't black. Well, pound that then. Talking about slavery like you was around back then. Yeah, we was around back then. We don't forget, we have the memory of our ancestors that run through our spirit and run through our brains, run through our minds, run through our auric field. Of course we was around back then. We don't forget. This is like you was picking cotton off the fucking ground back then. Yes, we feel every bit of that today. And I think that's one thing white people just don't understand because they're quick to say that was then, this is now. But Jews, you'll never hear them say forget the Holocaust. Never. Jews have a slogan. They say they will never forget. And they have the History Channel, the Discovery Channel, and all the other channels to remind people every single year on a constant and daily basis that they will never forget because they never want us to forget. So no, we're never going to forget what white people have done for us in this transatlantic slave trade and every other slave trade that went down. I was telling Soleil I misplaced my book, Arabs as the Master Enslavers. I got to find my book again. I wanted it for tonight so I could read some things out of it. And we're not going to forget that slave trade either. So we need to understand this particular dynamic, Brother Rich, and deal with it for what it is. Every single line, it cut my back like a whip. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not a racist. Every fucking line. I see black man aiming his gun, but I'd rather see a black man claiming his son. Please. I know it was written by a black man, but I'm saying, please. It was written with a black man in that white mindset. Like I said, it was masterfully done, but this is the way white people think. We do claim our sons, but guess what? For 400 years, you didn't allow us to claim our children.
You know what? I actually know a couple of, I don't want to make it seem like a lot, but I knew about two sisters that was actually in agreement with that line right there because they have deadbeat, what they call baby daddy. So, you know, they was happy that, you know, that line was said. Maybe it might wake up some brothers who out here busting off everywhere and not taking care of their kids.
No, I disagree with that totally, simply because I've always said you can trace this, us not taking care of our children and leaving our children and the baby daddy syndrome. You can trace that right back to slavery because we weren't allowed to take care of our children. All they want us to do is let off and then we go back to our own plantation or the plantation that they had us on, leaving the children to be raised as slaves. And that went on for 400 years. I don't care if anybody do anything for 400 years. The 500th year, you're just not going to stop. And then where was the training to teach us otherwise? After slavery, what kind of training did we have? Dr. Joy DeGruy taught us. What kind of training did we get to undo some of the psychological trauma? We got no training, Brother Rich. So for them women to say that, they're totally out of line. They need to lay on somebody's couch. And I'm not blaming the sisters. I'm just saying you speaking in the present, sis. We need to go back and figure out where that started because we didn't do that in Africa. Right? We didn't do that then. He says, I don't mean just for one day. He's talking about claiming this. I don't mean just for one day. And you're done. I mean, you're still trapped in a rut. And I work my ass off and I pay taxes for what? So you can keep living off free government assistance, food stamps for your children, but you still trying to sell them. But listen, it's more white people on government assistance than black people. So that line is not correct. You understand what I'm saying? When we tried to own property, it wouldn't let us. When we built Black Wall Street, they burned it down. Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma wasn't the only Black Wall Street we built. We built several of them in several different cities.
Right.
They trashed them and burned them all. So we have to understand. We have to understand the particular dynamic. This is racism, white supremacy jumping right off the screen at us, off the page at us. What this brother wrote down. That what this brother wrote in this song is actually the effect, not the cause.
Okay.
It's the effect of how we responded to what they've done to us, and nobody has came along to correct what was done to us. Yeah, Elijah Muhammad did what he did to correct some of these things that's wrong with black people. Yeah, we can honestly say Frederick Douglass spoke to it. W.E.B. Du Bois finally came around. Marcus Garvey did what he did. Noble Drew Ali and all the other black leaders, both male and female, as far as ancestors and elders today, and some brothers like you and I that are on the front line, speak to this particular dynamic. But right now, by reading this and listening to that song, it actually speaks to what's happening with black people today. And we're still suffering from this whole idea of not understanding racism, white supremacy, and not putting history in its proper perspective so we can understand it in order to move forward, so we can have a healthy dialogue. This song may create that healthy dialogue that we may need. But I'm truly seeing some ignorant shit being said about this song online by black people, and it's sad, man. Mm-hmm. It's sad. The gentleman said, he says, for some weed and some liquor or a fucking babysitter while you party on the road because you ain't got no fucking goals. I'm like, wow. I'm like, we had goals. I mean, we have all kind of goals, but we had goals before we met white people. For millions of years before we even met them, we've had goals. So all of a sudden now, we're caught in this white racist system. But because they've actually beat our language out of us. They actually beat us down to being savage, took everything from us, name, language, culture, God, religion, everything from us. Robbed us and brought us down to the level of animals. And then you got the nerve to turn around now, but because we got proper footing now, and we're starting to see things a little bit clearer, now you want to hit us with this, and it's like, wow. This is critical, man. Right. This is a wake-up call for some people, Brother Rich.
Mm-hmm.
I want to finish the song, but go on, Brother Rich.
No, man, I mean, I like how you breaking it down line for line, brother.
Bro, I went through this song with a fine-tooth comb, bro. He says, you're already late. You motherfuckers need to get your priorities straight. He says, wait, it's like you're proud to be fake. Fake? Them three lines just cut my right shoulder. I'm like, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. First of all, you motherfuckers are the first motherfuckers. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing has a chapter in her book called The Motherfucker and the Original Motherfucker. Chapter 9 of her book. When white people circumnavigated the globe, Brother Rich, and they ran into dark-skinned people that look like you and I, they was convinced they need to put a system together to prevent white genetic annihilation, because every time they raped a black woman, the child came out looking like you, Brother Rich.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So he said, you motherfuckers need to get your damn priorities straight. Wait. He says, you're proud to be fake? No, we're the real. We're the original people. Everything that black people created in our culture, even in our culture, as it thrived under racism, white supremacy, white people have stolen it. So, no, who's the real fake one? You understand what I'm saying? Then they said, but you lazy as fuck. You rather sell drugs than get a job to be straight than to turn around and complain about the poverty rate. Wait a minute. Slow down. We weren't lazy until we stopped working for you for free. we weren't lazy on the plantation, now was we? But until we start turning around and working for ourselves and doing something for ourselves and stop working for free, all of a sudden black people are fucking lazy. Stop that. No. There's no other people that have been through what black people have been through and made this much progress, in or outside of America. This is why in Libya they turned around and they decided, well, we can't even fuck with their progress. We got to put them back in slavery. And don't think America don't have that idea, because she does. He says, fuck out of my face. You can't escape problems. No, we can't escape problems because it's a system called racism, white supremacy. And it covers the 9 areas of people activity, and I humbly add the 5th area, which is health. So it's economics, education, labor law, politics, religion, sex, and war for the ultimate purpose of racism, of white genetic survival. They have to survive on a genetic level. And then now we add health. He says you can pray for some change, but you can't break $1. You got nobody else to blame, so you blame Donald. No, Donald's just a representation of what's right with racism, white supremacy, the system. He's not what's wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with the system that America built called racism, white supremacy. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's just not fair to us. And we need to recognize it works perfectly for white people. Like you said earlier in this interview, Brother Rich, white people love the cops. Because when they know the cops come, the cops ain't going to shoot them. Not going to arrest them. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, it was illegal for black cops to arrest white people in Atlanta. I'm going to pause on that one, Brother Rich.
You can say that again.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say that again because I got to pause on that because some people listening to this be like, man, you fuck out of here, Professor Griff. No, do the research like I've done. I live in Atlanta. I'm here. It was against the law for black cops to arrest white people for anything, even up to murder. And I think black people need to understand that. So he says, got nobody else to blame, but you blame Donald. He says they fucked the world with a Make America Great condom. Make my voice bend back. I'm not a racist. My sister's boyfriend is black. Wow. And this is something that we've been hearing from white people for a long time. Just because you got a friend that's dating a black person whose cousin is black, that lets you off the hook? No, man. No, if my daughter's in New York, if she get a flat tire in New York, you understand what I'm saying? That ain't got a damn thing to do with me living way down here in Atlanta, Georgia. That's so far removed. You understand? Just because your sister's boyfriend is black, what does that got to do with anything? Mm. And you looking at him because he's black because of the color of his skin? Or his consciousness? Or who he really is? Listen, Brother Richard, I need to say this at this point. You're not of your body. You're in your body. Mm. Right?
Indeed.
You're not of your body. We made up of different textures and different complexions and that kind of thing. You're not of your body. You're in your body. He says, I'm not a racist. My sister-in-law's baby cousin Tracy got a brother and his girlfriend is black. Damn. So I guess this is the criteria that makes the average white person cool because you got some black friends that you secretly call nigga? No, that's just not going to cut it. So he says, my head's in the cloud. I heard this enough. This is not enough jobs for all you men in your house. No, it's not enough because you never, ever created industry to give jobs to black people. Elijah Muhammad said there's 3 things white people will never teach us: the science of mating, the science of business, and the science of warfare. So that line is absolutely correct. There will never be enough jobs. If every black man even wanted a job today, there's not enough jobs to go around. You got to create your own. He says maybe we should build a wall to keep the Mexicans out, or maybe we should send them all to the ghetto for now. Well, we're already in the ghetto. All right, and maybe the pacification process is actually working because now the ghetto has paved streets and street lights. Now that the ghetto has a corner store called Walmart or Wally World, or it has a jazzy fence around us. And as the Goody Mob said, they don't know whether the fence to keep people out or to keep our black asses in. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So the whole ghetto is not necessarily a physical place anymore, brother, it's just a mentality. He says, I'm not a racist. I never lie. But I think there's a disconnect between your culture and mine. Yeah, you have no culture. You have a culture of death and destruction and thievery and rape. This is what white people's culture is. And to show and prove it, they did it all over the globe, everywhere they went, regardless of what language they spoke. The French did it. The Italians did it. The Portuguese did it. The average European did it. The German did it. The Russian did it. Everywhere they went. Now, I'm not saying that there wasn't a few of them that went against the grain, the John Browns of the world, but all of them have done it because it's a system of racism, white supremacy. They have to survive on a genetic level. He said, I worship the Einsteins. I studied the Steve Jobs. But you ride Tupac's dick like he was a fucking god. Oh, my God. And because Tupac was one of those individuals that spoke truth to power and spoke to black people and made black people understand what we up against. So, yeah, we look at Tupac as a god. But what's wrong with that? You're looking at Einstein, and we pull Einstein's rap sheet on you, you probably couldn't take that. So if you worship Einstein, wow. I wish I could read. I got a listing from it. I wish I could read some of the things Einstein did behind closed doors. But we're not going to get into that. And we're not going to talk about how Steve Jobs checked out of here and some of the things that they were doing. These some filthy demons. Straight up. Elijah Muhammad said, why don't people allow us in this high social equality? Because they don't want us to know how filthy they are in all their affairs. If we learn about them, we will run them from among us. That's the lessons. That's supreme wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just real. Once we find out about them, we will run them from among us. And that's what's happening now in Hollywood right now. White women are waking up and saying, we're not going for this anymore. Plain and simple. And so all you care about is rapping and stunting and being ratchet. And that's the nigga within you. Music rotting your brain, and slowly you start to convince you. Wow, aren't you responsible for disseminating this kind of music? Black people make it. The black people that's not awake and aware, even the ones that are awake and aware, that's speaking about their ratchet condition, put it on wax, and you send it across the globe. But we telling other black people our story. Chuck D said rap is the CNN for the black community. So we telling our story, and all you can get out of it is all we care about is rapping and stunting, being ratchet, and that's the nigga within us. Wow. If that's the nigga within us, then that's the black God that's in us. And we finally found a way through your bastard language to express ourselves, to talk to other people across the globe. It's just rotting your brain and slowly starting to convince you. Then you let your children listen, and then the cycle continues. The cycle continues because you're the one that own the radio stations. You're the one that own the distribution companies. You're the one that own the record companies. And this is one of the ways that black people feel they can come up out of the hood and come up out of their ratchet condition by making music and expressing themselves. He says, you blame it all on the menu, blame it all on the drinks, blame it all everybody except for your own race. No, we have taken responsibility. The most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan demonstrated that with the Million Man March. He basically says, no. I asked for 1 million to come, 2 million showed up, and they talked about us going back to our homes and taking care of our wives and our children, our families, and getting a job. That's what it was designed to do. So we took that weight and that responsibility back on our shoulders. You blame it on the white privilege, blame it on the white kids, and just blame it on white citizens. Same with the vice president. Of course, we're going to blame it on white citizens, not necessarily the ones that's ignorant to this, because most of them are. When white citizens wake up, they understand. They're like, wait a minute. Yeah, we dealt black people a bad hand. My wife read something to me last night that made me just sit down and just kind of like, wow. White people are now, they've always been, but they're going back for the remix. They're actually trying to rewrite history, Brother Rich. They're trying to rewrite history and push the date back when man first originated, and they're putting white people there. They're trying to move the place from where man originated. They say it's in Morocco now, as though Morocco is not in Africa. This is their attempt. So just to finish this, he says it's like you want to be famous. So you want to be so famous, you do anything for attention and a little payment. Well, everybody want to be something, Brother Rich, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Chuck D says that attention is the new currency. So everybody want to be something in this world because you beat us down to be nothing. So much so we want to be something. We want to be the great people that we are. He said, I can't take you nowhere without people pointing fingers, pants, hand off your ass. You got no home training. Just put your fucking pants up, nigga. Put your suit back on. Take that do-rag off and take the gold out your mouth and quit that pitiful stuff. I'm like, So all of this that you mentioned in those last 4 lines come from us responding to racism, not knowing how to respond to racism, white supremacy. because you have a culture of rape in this society. When we go to jail, we have to be mindful and cautious of keeping our manhood. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you start talking about how we dress, pull our pants up, put our suit back on, even when we had the suit on trying to assimilate, trying to be like you, trying to assimilate into your society and trying to be something, you beat us back with that. I mean, we talked about the RZA when he talked about his son, talking about if his son would just dress better, the police wouldn't harass him. Wasn't that the RZA?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then we had to send him and show him pictures how the vast majority of people that were raped, not raped, was lynched, had suits on.
Yeah.
They had suits on.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to understand. So last but not least, it says, and then maybe police would stop killing you. Stop killing you, fucks. It's critical, man. The police are not going to stop killing you because you got a suit on. Because the ultimate suit that you're wearing is your black skin. He says, I'm not a racist. It's like we're living in the same building, but split into 2 floors. No, you own the building. And we don't own the floor we live on. So you could take your floor and do what you want to with it. And you have. Your floor is nice, shiny, and clean without rats and roaches and writing on the wall. Look how we have to live in the projects. They know nothing about that at all, Brother Rich, at all. He says, I'm not a racist, but there's 2 sides to every story. I wish that I knew yours. You will never, ever, ever know ours. Your white psyche won't even allow you room to even know our story. Because to know our story, I have to take you back to the continent when the first devil stepped on the planet, on the continent. In that particular relationship, I had to take you back to the Van Dam conference and all these other conferences. The conference that they had in Belgium, I forget the name of it, where they carved up Africa. So we have to go back and see when they carved up Africa and what they did to Africa.
Mm-hmm. What was it called? The Scramble for Africa?
Yes, the Scramble for Africa. But I'm gonna have the name for it in a minute, man. It's right on the tip of my tongue, and I always have that issue trying to pull it up. There's a few things I wanted to put in front of me to read to you tonight, but it's cool. What's your next question, good brother?
Well, I mean, shit, Griff, you done win, man. I mean, I guess you could finish dissecting the song since
please.
And then I'll follow up and just end the show with a question, man. But just dissect it, man. You breaking it down, brother.
Okay, it's the Berlin Conference, 1884 to 1885, also known as the Congo Conference, where Germany and European nations got together and basically colonized Africa and went into Africa and carved Africa up. That wasn't the only conference, though. I think we need to know that. All right? So the second verse where the brother didn't do too well, and this was just some lackluster kind of facts that they put in there. It says, with all due respect, I really don't like you white motherfuckers. That's just where I'm at, screaming all lives matter. All right? So let's just, and it's a protest to my protest. What kind of shit is that? So the whole idea of Black Lives Matter spun off of the Black Lives Matter. We always knew it always operated as though all lives matter. It wasn't until they started disrespecting black people's lives by killing us like our life didn't matter until we took up the protest, Black Lives Matter. But since we had some black people that claimed that slavery never existed, we had some black people claim that we're not really black, we're something else. We had all these black people that just pop up and saying all these other things. I guess none of this even means anything to white people now. So white people are taking up and getting the testicular fortitude to rewrite history. So much so, since your niggas are saying that slavery didn't happen, fine. We won't write it in the history then. Since you claim that you're not black, we'll write you in as something else. Then it says, and that's one war you'll never win. The power in the word nigga is a different sin. And he's absolutely correct in that. The power that they've given the term nigga, especially here in America and now throughout the entire globe, is so much power in that one particular word. It has started fights. It has broken families up. It has created drama in courtrooms, outside of classrooms. It's been debate. Books have been written about it. Poems have been written about it. Songs have been sang about it. People have been shot in the head and beat down because of it. It says we shouldn't say it, but we do. And that's just what it is. And I understand what the brother is saying. That's just what it is. We've taken all of these terms that they put on black people, porch monkey, burrhead, coon, shine, hand bone, and all these other terms that they put among us, and we kind of wrestle with them, and we deal with them as such. But because black people, to take the edge off of things, we make jokes about things, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or whatever. That's just who and what we are, to ease the reality of what we have to deal with. It says, nigga, that word was originated for you to keep us under. And when it was used, we know that we just use it how to greet each other. And when you see it, when you use it, pardon me, we know there's a double meaning under. And it's absolutely correct. And even if I wasn't picking cotton physically, that don't mean I'm not affected by the history. We're all affected by the history. History is best qualified and most rewarded to reward our research, because if we know what was, we know what is, so we can understand what's to come. But John Henry Clark said history is a clock where we tell our political time of day. We have to know history. Without a man's history, you're absolutely nothing in the present, because you won't know how to reach back and go fetch it. Everybody is well-versed in their history, except black people, simply because white people have created a system where they've destroyed our history. And once you destroy a person's history, you destroy a person. Because if you have no history, it's like your roots. If you have no roots, you understand, how could your branches grow? You understand what I'm saying? It says, my grandma was a slave. That shit gets to me. And you ain't got no motherfucking sympathy, you pussy nigga. And that's critical.
Well, before you comment on that, one thing I noticed about that line, a lot of people were saying we exaggerate. Ain't no way in hell a brother that's 20-something-year-old grandmother was a slave, so we need to stop exaggerating about slavery because it happened hundreds of years ago. So I noticed that. I kept reading that in the comment section, so I just wanted to say that. But go ahead, brother.
Maybe he wasn't talking about physically. I have some relatives that are slaves right now. I'm 57. They're mentally enslaved. So when I read that line, Brother Rich, I didn't think physically, because I knew that couldn't be possible. Well, let me stop that. There's some people in the rural South that didn't even know slavery ended. Shit.
Okay.
That was a few years ago. Just my grandmother. It says, so I'm sorry, you can never feel my life. Trying to have faith when I never felt all right. See, this is lackluster, Brother Rich. This is not even hitting the mark, man. Trying to find a job, but you ain't called me back yet. That's just surface stuff, man. You got to sell drugs to put food in your cabinet. You crackers are sick. I heard one sister talking about you can't equate the term cracker with nigger. By calling a white person a cracker, you giving them power over you. How the hell is that? I'm confused about that.
Well, because she might be saying it from the perspective, Griff, because they used to crack the whip. So I guess she's saying that was a term where, you get what I'm saying. If somebody's cracking the whip at you or somebody in your family and you still calling them that name, it's kind of like you are giving them that power, I guess she's saying, because he's the one that was cracking that whip.
And so that denotes that they're not cracking the whip today? That's a foolish statement, Brother Rich. That we call the cracker's a title, first of all. It's the person who cracked the whip. That was his job. So if they're cracking the whip today using the same whip called racism, white supremacy, and it's affecting us, yeah, there's some crackers. It's not a derogatory term. No, it's a title that befits them. Plain and simple. And most of them don't know what the term means. So he says, you don't know about no fried chicken, no barbecue. You don't know about two-step or loose change. You don't know about 2 Chainz or Kool-Aid. All of that surface stuff, man.
Right, and that's the part Let me cut you off once. That's the part a lot of black people were mad at. They were saying that the artist could have really provided some historical context, whereas it would have made a better response, a better rebuttal. But just to say Kool-Aid and fried chicken, I mean, that's what the people were mad at, saying it was a weak-ass response. But go ahead.
It was very, very, very weak. And going into the psyche of Joyner Lucas, I would like to sit him down and ask him what made you make this song so lopsided that when he admitted that he's a mulatto, that when you went to speak for the black side, you understand what I'm saying, you came so weak. What is it that you don't know your history?
Okay, so he was on Ebro in the morning. That's the station in New York, Hot 97, Ebro in the morning. Ebro asked the same thing. Ebro said, well, he wanted to know why, a lot of people were saying that Black Guy's verse was weak. Why does it, what happened? You know what I'm saying? He explained that he wanted to, basically in a nutshell, not to quote him verbatim, but basically he wanted the Black Guy to take the high road, to come to a resolution at the end, because he could have made the song go on for 8, 9, 10 minutes. So Ebro asked him, why is it that the people who are discriminated against always have to take the high road? We're the ones being discriminated against, put in prison, but for some reason we have to, like Michelle Obama say, when they go low, we go high. So That's the question Ebro was asking him, because, obviously people noticed that the verse could have been a whole lot stronger. So I just wanted to add that.
Well, it could have been a lot stronger, and then what we're witnessing right now, even with Joyner Lucas, we're witnessing the psychological effects of racism, white supremacy. That even in his psyche, he can't even defend himself and black people. And he wrote the damn song. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
As though whatever parent you have, whether the white parent is black or whatever parent is white, it almost seems like that's the side that you're taking. And your psyche will do that. Psychologically speaking, you want to take the side that's winning. Right or wrong. But your complexion won't let you out of it, because when them cops roll up on you, they don't give a fuck whether or not your ass is mulatto. They're not looking at that. They're looking at you like you're black. He says you blame it on Puerto Rico, you blame it on OJ, blame it on everybody except for your own race. Blame it on black niggas, blame it on black citizens. Aim at the black business. I ain't saying I'm innocent. Wow. So out of all this shit, your ass been raped, knocked upside the head, dragged to America, family broken apart, language, name, culture, all this shit taken from you, and you got the nerve to turn around and say you're not innocent. What the fuck are you guilty of? What are you guilty of? And that's the argument I have with Denzel Washington. What are you guilty of? What are we guilty of? So it's not the prison system, Denzel, right? But they had the prison system way before we even came up with any of these concepts. Treating everybody how you want anyway. I swear North Korea about to bomb us any day now. Wow. You know how many black people are in the military defending a country that don't give a fuck about them, Brother Rich? And you're going to lump us in? If North Koreans invaded America and there was boots on the ground, I think white people would fight for white people. I mean, black people would fight for white people. I know some people that was in the military. They said, man, I'm not shooting no Vietnamese people. I shot over their head. I pretended like I was shooting them. So I'm not killing a brown man. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We have a serious decision to make, man. If anybody invaded this country, would you fight for America? And that's a dilemma. Because you have no infrastructure, you have no military of your own. You have no place you're going to defend. Now I'm doubling back now, says I'm ducking every time I hear a fucking plane now. Why? Even if it was 19 Arabs or Muslims or whatever that brought down the Twin Towers during the 9/11 event, which it wasn't. Which it absolutely wasn't. You understand? That was some CIA, FBI, that was some Mossad, that was MI5, MI6, and a few other people that brought the Twin Towers down. And that can easily be proven. Go back and watch my documentary my lecture I put together, 911 is a joke, the unholy war on terrorism. So he's talking about I'm ducking every time he hear a fucking plane. Now, stop that bullshit, man. As much trauma as white people done put us under over the last 400 years, there's a few other things that you should be ducking from. Let me finish. It says, you know I make a lot of sense, but you just can't admit it. When Eminem went against Trump, that was the illest. Because even though he's white, he let us know he's standing with us. We always gonna get a few of them. We always. That's. You know, he made his living, his career off of black culture. You understand what I'm saying? But maybe Eminem is just standing up for what's right, whether he's black or white. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We can't say, okay, that's just 1,000% hip-hop. No, maybe Eminem made up his own damn mind as a white man saying, listen, I'm standing up for what's right. Isn't that what we're calling white people to do? Neutralize racism, white supremacy, and stand up to create justice on the planet? Moving on now, it says, I'm not a racist, but I cry a lot. You don't even know why it's like to be in the frying pot. Oh, this is so fucking weak. You don't know what it's like to mind your own business. I got shot by the cops, and if you knew, if you don't know whether or not if you're about to live or die. Wow. I mean, that's a natural, everyday occurrence with black people. We're getting stopped by the cops, so much so, brother told me he got pulled over by the cops the other day, and it was a black cop, and he still felt the same thing. Damn.
Yeah, of course. No difference.
That's the trauma, man.
Yeah.
We need counseling. That's trauma. He said, you worry about your life, so you take mine. I love you, but I fucking hate you at the same time. Damn. Well, what is it that you have to... My question to Joyner Lucas and the rest of the people that feel that way, what the fuck is that you love about white people? It's like I asked people the other day, you African American, what part of Africa are you from? What part of African are you? What part of you is African? I see the American part, but what part is African? You don't support Africa. You never talk about Africa. You never big up Africa. I never use you here in any African terms. You don't think African. You don't speak African. You don't walk African. You don't walk like an African. You don't organize like an African. You don't. What a part of you African? You're African American, but what part is African? He says, I wish I could trade shoes or we could just change lives so I could understand each other more, but that's going to take time. I don't think this country is in a position where it's actually going to take time to understand the root of what happened to black people in America, Brother Rich. And we've tried that. We tried that in the institutions of America, the educational institutions. We tried that on the job. We've tried it in the political, the halls of politics, the halls of justice. We've tried that in law. We tried it everywhere we go with white people. They're just not going to get it simply because we've already had an African American president, and we always gave y'all a chance. We gave y'all what is this thing that they gave us where we can get jobs and all this other kind of stuff? What is that called, Brother Rich? It escapes me.
Not affirmative action, right?
Yeah, affirmative action.
Affirmative action, okay.
So these are the things that they gave black people, and they thought they were going to even out the playing field. No, Brother Rich. Look at what they stole from Africa. And then let's see whether or not you can level out the playing field. Just recently you murdered Gaddafi, and you stole trillions of dollars worth of gold. Gold bars. So come on. No, you stole trillions and trillions of dollars of physical material wealth from Africa. You stole human beings. Over 600 million of us came through the Middle Passage. No. You didn't even out the playing field with a fake black African American president and affirmative action, stopping some fucking government assistance. Stop that. He says, I'm not a racist. It's like we're living in the same buildings, splitting both sides. I'm not a racist, but there's two sides to every story. Now you know mine. That's not our story. That's some lackluster bullshit from a third grader. That is absolutely not our story at all. Not at all, Brother Rich.
Indeed. Well, I mean, I tell you, Professor Griff, man, that was a thorough breakdown, my brother. I did not want to interrupt you too much. I know the people are going to enjoy this. I've seen the people making their reaction videos, and, you know, it's been going viral. So I definitely know your video is going viral, and people are going to have a lot to say. You know, whether they agree or disagree, they're going to have a lot to say about what you have to say about this song. So I definitely appreciate what you brought to the table, Professor Griff. Your history lesson, because that's what's important. Those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. So it's something that we thoroughly need is a history lesson to understand where these terminologies, whether it's cracker, whether it's motherfucker, or any of these terms come from. So I definitely appreciate it, Professor Griff. I'm just ended there. I don't want to mess up what you done brought to the show, so I'm going to end it there. Let the people know, Professor Griff, what you got coming up. I know you got a lot going on. You got classes. You got a lot of things going on. But the people that are interested, let them know, brother.
Well, right now, every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, we have the Serious Minds Institute presents the Serious Minds Study Group. We study from 8 to 10 every Wednesday night online. I had a brother travel from Florida, thought that we met every Wednesday night at some building somewhere. He drove from Florida.
Oh, man.
I'm like, bro, come on, this is online, bro.
Wow.
It's online, and y'all can sign up. Just go to my website, www.professorgriff.me, and sign up. Or just go to Facebook. I'll put the flyer up. I'll give it to Brother Rich so he can put the flyer up. Every Wednesday night, like I said, it's a study group. It's going to evolve into a think tank. So we're looking for the brightest minds, those that think very analytically, and those that want to piece things apart and study and kneel at the feet of the elders and stand on the shoulders of the ancestors. I have the honor, and I'm so excited about approaching this venture in my life of putting together a documentary film entitled Oculus, Inc. And as I said before, the Oculus, they are the people that manipulate and control our perception on what we see. It's one of them deep-rooted secret societies that manipulate and control what we see. I'm putting together a film about the Oculus, about those symbols that are hidden in plain sight, that we fail to decode, that affect our energy centers. So the Oculus film is going in production in January. I'm going to need assistance on it, so I'm going to need everybody to go to support the crowdfundme campaign. Go to www.gofundme.com/Professor-Griff-Film-Oculus-Inc. That's INC. The Oculus film. Or just go to Google and put in Professor Griff's film Oculus Inc. and the link will come up. Also, I'm going to give it to Brother Rich to put it in the description down there. All right? But mainly, those are the things that's happening right now, Brother Rich. I cannot wait to hear what people have to say in reference to what's about to happen. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. There's some things that's coming down the pipe, Brother Rich, that we definitely going to have to talk about. America is going to start making black people choose sides, and it's going to be critical, man, because you know they're already vamping their war machine up to move on North Korea. But what's going to happen to the North Koreans that are already here in America? Mm-hmm. Are we going to see them in internment camps? So we got some serious decisions to make, Brother Rich, within the next few months, man. All right, brother. Shout out to all of the people in Birmingham, Alabama. Me and Soleil was there for a banquet last night, doing what we do for young people. And that's charity work, man, that everybody should do at least 4 times a year. And I'm holding everybody's feet to the fire, Brother Rich, including yours. 4 times a year, we got to do something that's absolutely free for young people, man.
Okay.
We have to do something.
Yes, sir.
I don't care what it is, something. Somebody has to make a sacrifice to get our people out of this wretched condition that we in, Brother Rich. Shout out to Biggs Jim, Nabs, Jabs with Nabs. I'm with Nabs every Tuesday and Thursday, man, whipping me back into shape, Brother Rich. Shout out to Biggs at Biggs Gym in Decatur, Georgia. Y'all come on through, man. When you here visiting, Brother Rich, I'm going to take you by the gym, man. We're going to get that in on the hip stack, all right?
No doubt. I need that, no doubt.
All right, cool, man.
So, yeah, I want to thank Professor Griff for coming on the show once again. I want to thank all my Patreons who support. As y'all can see, the Roland Martin show just got canceled. Though we don't agree with everything the brother says and him dancing with Hillary Clinton. But black media is needed, and we see the direction mainstream media, the television is going. So these online stations or online platforms are very important. We already know what they're doing with the censorship, so supporting these platforms are very important if y'all want to continue to get this type of information delivered to the masses. So I appreciate everybody on Patreon and on PayPal who supports myself or Professor Griff. Please continue to support. We will continue to put the work in and do these weekly segments, and Griff is going to continue doing what he's doing. Thank you so much, family. And on that note, we signing out. The descriptions, the links will be in the description for what Griff got going on, what I got going on. And we're going to see you next week, family. Thank you very much. Peace.
Peace.
Rich, but I came from the Nile Valley. It's bittersweet, I smile sadly. Truth rarely seen like child's daddies. I'm in Hotep, I style flashy. Regarded highly, I'm Selassie. As time is passing, tribes are clashing. I know the ledge, I grow my dreads. My queen's two open legs have golden eggs, I'm hatched. 9 months had to hold my breath. Now I dream so heavy that I broke the bed. Provoke the feds that slaughter the sons. 12 get the 4-5 like a quarter to 1. The war has begun. Latin for sun, the soul and Melanites get more of the sun. We the fortunate one. Got the God in the womb and the Lord in my come, and no more means love. Death is the source that I'm from. Everything that they do, we have already done. Self-taught, my ice a melt salt. Mine high price, I write and sell thought. I felt cloth, I cannot in cotton shop in aquaponic chronic.